congruence. Many times we see such figures around us, which are very similar to each other. Look at these two leaves. Is there any difference? Think. If you look carefully, you will find that they are exactly the same. If we place them on top of each other, they cover each other completely. One shape completely covers the other shape only in one condition. When the shape and size of both the objects are same. So such shapes that are completely equal in size and shape are called congruent shapes. The relation of two figures being congruent is called congruence, and we use this sign to show this relationship. Keep in mind that like 2D shapes, 3D shapes can also be congruent. For example, these two cones, which have equal size and shape, are therefore congruent. In this video, we will only discuss congruency of two-dimensional shapes. If we talk about these shapes, then here also you can see that the sizes and measurements of both are found exactly same. So both these shapes are also congruent. Now look at these two shapes of keys. Do you think that this is also congruent? Think. To find out, we will try to keep one shape properly on the other. As you can see, the two keys do not cover each other completely. That is, they are not equal in size and measure, so it is not congruent. We use this symbol to show that the two figures are not congruent. Now, by looking at the pictures given, find out which pictures show congruent shapes and which pictures do not have congruent shapes. Pause the video and solve it yourself. Can you tell that how can we make a congruent shape of a given shape? Think. Let us tell you. We can make it by trace copy and using carbon paper. With the help of geometry, we can draw a congruent shape of any shape by composition. Now let's examine the congruency of some shapes of geometry. Are two line segments always congruent? Think. Let us tell you. The lengths of line segments are limited. When the two line segments have the same length as here, the line segment AB is equal to 3 cm and the line segment CD is equal to 3 cm. Then they cover each other completely. In such a situation, they are congruent. If the lengths are not the same, say the line segment EF and that is equal to 3 cm and the line segment GH that is equal to 5 cm, then they do not completely cover each other. So in such a case, two line segments are said to be not congruent. And we write it as this. Therefore, the congruency of the line segments is checked only on the basis of their length. No matter what the position of the line segments are, if the lengths of the line segments are equal, then they are congruent. On the contrary, we can also say that if two line segments are congruent, then their lengths are equal. Now let's talk about congruency of angles. Look at these two angles. Both measure 30 degrees. Are these congruent? Let's find out. We will create angle PQR on trace paper and place it on angle AOB. On adjusting, we see that vertex Q is covering vertex O, arm QP to arm OB, and the arm QR completely covers the arm OA. This shows that both the angles are congruent. That is, angle PQR is congruent to angle AOB. Now suppose the length of OB was more than the length of QP, then in such a situation, angle PQR and angle AOB would be congruent? Think. Keep in mind, it does not matter what the lengths of the sides of the angles are. If the measurements of the angles are equal, then the angles are called congruent. That is, the congruence of angles is based on the measurement of angles. That is, if two angles are equal, then they are congruent. On the contrary, we can say that if two angles are congruent, then their measurements are equal. If the two angles whose measurements are not equal, they cannot be placed one above the other in any way, so that the vertices and sides of one angle are exactly on the vertices and sides of the other. In such a situation, two angles cannot be congruent. In the next video, we will understand the congruence of triangles in details. Today we learned the meaning of congruence. Suppose we draw two triangles, triangle BCD and triangle OPQ from the same set square. Since both are drawn by the same set squares, we can say that their shape and size are equal.
We know that when two figures are similar in size and shape, then they are congruent. In this way, triangle BCD and triangle OPQ are congruent. If we cut these triangles, then their congruency can be checked by placing them one on top of the other. But we cannot place them one on top of the other as we wish. We also have to adjust them properly, keeping them one on top of the other so that they cover each other accurately.
But here, it is possible only when we place vertex B on O, vertex C on vertex P, and vertex D on vertex Q. Only when doing so, triangle BCD completely covers triangle OPQ. And it is clear that triangle BCD and triangle OPQ are congruent. In this way, in the context of congruency, we need to take care of matching or correspondence of the parts of the triangle. For example, here the correspondence of the vertex is as follows: B correspondence O, C correspondence P, D correspondence Q. These are the vertices that cover each other completely. Similarly, here we can see the correspondence of the sides as well, which we will show as BC correspondence OP, CD correspondence PQ, and BD correspondence OQ. Similarly, here we can also see the correspondence of angles, which we can show in this way. Angle B correspondence angle O, angle C correspondence angle P, and angle D correspondence angle Q. We can also show all these in an easy way in this way: BCD correspondence OPQ. All these correspondence we indicate in short with this sign, congruent or congruency. We take care of matches or correspondence when showing the relation of congruency. Therefore, we can show the congruency of the given triangles in this way. Triangle BCD is congruent to triangle OPQ. Triangle CDB is congruent to triangle PQO. Triangle DBC is congruent to triangle QOP because corresponding parts of triangles are taken into consideration. But with respect to congruency, we cannot show in this way because corresponding parts of triangle are not taken into considerations. That is, if we try to put the vertex B on the top of vertex P, the vertex C on the top of vertex Q, and the vertex D on the top of vertex O, then we know that the two triangles do not cover each other. By understanding correspondence, we can find out which corresponding vertices, corresponding angles, and corresponding sides are in congruent triangles. Looking at these correspondence, we can tell that here are the pairs of corresponding vertices: vertex B and vertex O, vertex C and vertex P, and vertex D and vertex Q. Pairs of corresponding angles are angle B and angle O, angle C and angle P, and angle D and angle Q. Similarly, there are pairs of corresponding sides BC and OP, CD and PQ, and BD and OQ. When two figures, such as two triangles, triangle BCD and triangle OPQ, are congruent, in such a case the corresponding parts are equal. Therefore, we can say that angle B is equal to angle O, angle C is equal to angle P, and angle D is equal to angle Q. Similarly, the side BC is equal to side OP, side CD is equal to side PQ, and side BD is equal to side OQ. Now suppose triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Can you tell what are the corresponding vertices, corresponding sides, and corresponding angles in both triangles? Find it yourself. In each case, we cannot find out whether both triangles are congruent or not by placing one triangle on the other. In such a situation, the restrictions of congruency of triangles help us. We will learn them in the upcoming video. So today we learned the congruency of triangles. In the next video, we will see examples related to congruency. Example 1. Two triangles, triangle ABC and triangle YZX, are congruent by matching or correspondence. Find all their corresponding congruent parts. We are given that the summation ABC is matching with YZX and triangle ABC is congruent with triangle YZX. ABC is matching with YZX when the vertices ABC of triangle ABC are placed on vertices YZX of triangle YZ and X in the same order, then they cover each other completely. Hence, the corresponding congruent vertices are A is matching with Y, B is matching with Z, and C is matching with X. When the arms AB, BC, and AC of triangles ABC are kept over YZ, ZX, and YX of triangle YZX, then they cover each other completely. So the corresponding congruent sides of two triangles are AB is matching with YZ, BC is matching with ZX, and AC is matching with YX. Will you now be able to find the corresponding congruent angles of triangle ABC and triangle YZX? Think. Let us tell you. Their corresponding congruent angles will be A is matching with Y, B is matching with Z, and C is matching with X. Example 2. If triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DBC and ABC is matching with DBC, find the measure of angle A in the following figure. Here, ABC is matching with DBC and triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DBC under this combination. Here, angle A and angle D are the corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Triangle ABC and triangle DBC. Can you tell what the relationship between these angles will be? Think. Absolutely correct. Since the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are equal, we can say that the corresponding angles of congruent triangles, angle A and angle D, will also be congruent. You must remember that the sum of all angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. So in triangle DBC, angle DBC plus angle DCB plus angle D is equal to 180 degrees. Here, angle DBC is equal to angle DCB is equal to 70 degrees. Therefore, 70 degrees plus 70 degrees plus angle D is equal to 180 degrees. Angle D is equal to 180 degrees minus 70 degrees plus 70 degrees. Angle D is equal to 180 degrees minus 140 degrees. Angle D is equal to 40 degrees. Because angle D is equal to 40 degrees, and according to the first statement, angle A is congruent to angle D, therefore, we can say that angle A is equal to 40 degrees. Today we saw examples related to congruency. In the next video, we will learn about some misconceptions related to same.
Misconception 1.
The teacher drew the following figure on the board and asked the children, "Are the following line segments congruent?" To which Meera replied, "No," whereas Natasha replied, "Yes." Find out who gave the correct answer. When teaching congruency of line segments, parallel line segments are used to show that the line segments are equal. Because of this, it becomes a misconception of children that two line segments are congruent only when their lengths are equal and they are parallel. With this understanding, they think that the given line segment is not congruent. Hence, they consider Meera's answer to be correct and select option 2. But option 2 is an incorrect answer. The correct understanding is that it is wrong to see whether they are parallel to check the congruency of the line segments. So, here if one line segment is placed on another line segment, then we see that both line segments overlap with each other. Therefore, it is decided by length only whether they are congruent or not. Here the lengths of both line segments are the same. So, given line segments are congruent. That is why Natasha has given the correct answer. That is option 1 is the correct answer.
Misconception 2.
See the angles given below to find out whether they are congruent or not. Some children see that the
Length of arms and
orientation of angle PQR and angle XYZ are different. So they understand that the given angle is not congruent. So they select option 1, which is wrong answer. The correct understanding is that if the measurements of the angles are the same, then they are congruent, no matter how long the lengths of their arms are or how the position is. Here, angle PQR and angle XYZ measure both these angles at 50 degrees. Hence, angle PQR is congruent to angle XYZ. Here, option 2 is the correct answer to this question.
Misconception 3.
Are the triangles given below congruent or not? Some children notice that the angles of both the triangles have equal measures, so they think that the given triangles are congruent. And they select option 1 as their answer. Let's find out the answer given by them is right or wrong. If we place one triangle on another triangle, we will find that they do not completely cover each other, even if the corresponding angles are equal. So can we call them congruent? Think. No. Therefore, option 1 is the wrong answer. The correct understanding is that two triangles are congruent when their corresponding angles and corresponding sides are equal, and the corresponding vertices come right over each other. Since the lengths of the sides are not equal here, so here triangle XYZ is not congruent to triangle ABC. That is, the correct answer to the question given is option 2. So today we saw some misconceptions related to congruence.